Irish Media Network. We entertain.
Hi, we're the Blizzards, and this is About Last Night. Stunning.
What is up, guys? I'm down here at the Menagerie for the 8th edition of Vertigo. I'm going to be speaking to the guys a little later on about the dire licensing situation in Belfast and just how they came up with the party. Stick around. What's up, guys? I'm down here at the Menagerie with the guys from Vertigo ahead of their 8th party. How you doing, gentlemen? You alright?
Not bad. Excited.
Bit positive from last night.
I just want to talk a little bit about how the whole concept of Vertigo came about. Have you guys always known each other? Was it something you really wanted to do?
So it started off as small parties, starting in Love and Death, for maybe the first 2 or 3, and then Connell came in sort of after that, and then we decided to move venues. It was Connell's idea. Change it into here because it was just up and coming then. Seen it was getting a lot of attention, a lot of potential. The owner, he's sound to work with, so it went really well. First gig was a big sellout, followed by the second one, another big sellout. So it's just been running really smoothly ever since in here.
Your party tonight's sort of been almost disrupted in a way because of the crackdown on licensing. Licenses, it's obviously a huge issue, not just up north but down south as well.
Yeah.
What's your sort of opinion on the whole, how it's sort of strangling the nighttime economy here? Would you like to see promoters come together a bit more to voice some kind of resistance towards it, or?
Definitely, 100%. Realistically, if we're not going to be the ones to argue it, who is? Because we're the ones that it affects mostly, obviously including the fans and things, but promoters definitely would have more of a stand if we all got together and did something. It's another matter entirely, thinking of what it is we could do, but it definitely is something that needs to be changed. But the sad thing is it's just at the bottom of priorities in terms of politics in our country.
It is being ignored at the minute. It's making it hard for everyone. You know yourself, going out early is just not a thing at the minute. Everyone wants to have a wee drink before they head out. When you compare here to the likes of Manchester and things like that, people don't go out till 12 or 1, and it seems to go smoothly. I don't see why it can't happen here as well.
Yeah, so it's interesting you say about Manchester, because most of the people will reference Berlin and Amsterdam, but it's almost unreasonable to do that because it's in their blood. Do you know what I mean? They really look at it as a piece of culture. But if it happens elsewhere in the UK, we're in the UK. Why is it not happening here? So Emmett, you've recently started the Electronic Music Society as well in Queens. Do you want to talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, basically, I got asked to join this year. Pretty much what we do is just run production workshops. So you've got Ableton production workshops. We also do track breakdown and feedbacks. We do DJ classes as well. We're going to be running socials, that sort of thing. The main aim is just to give everyone a space to basically make music, to learn about music. I know for myself, I've been making music for about 5 years. I don't really know where to turn. At least now we're trying to create a community for everyone. It did start with Queens originally, but there were so many people interested, we just thought we'd open it. We've got students from Georgetown, Belfast Met. We've got people in school doing it, people working full time. The aim is to just make it as easy as possible for people to learn at the minute and to help as much as we can in order to try and progress the electronic music scene.
Well, I want to thank you very much, guys, for joining me, and looking forward to the party tonight. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Cheers. This has been Andrew down at the Menagerie for the 8th edition of Vertigo. Had a really good discussion with the guys earlier. Thanks for sticking around.
I'm Brennan here with you for another episode of About Last Night. I am in Dublin's Temple Bar covering the event Mother, where I'll be chatting to residency DJ Ruth Kavanagh and the man who makes it all happen, Cormac Cashman. We are here at the hub for Mother. I'm joined by Cormac Cashman, the man behind it. How are you doing, Cormac?
I'm good.
Are you excited for tonight?
Yeah, very excited.
Now, you started this whole thing, started running events for the LGBT community from such a young age. You're about 20 or something when you started doing this. That is such a young age to have such a drive and a passion for something. Where did that come from?
I don't know. I just needed something to do that wasn't college work, I guess. I never really thought we'd fall into this we'd be doing this much of it. I started out like a student years ago, and then GCN, Gay Community News magazine, approached me about doing a fundraiser, and that's how Mother came about. And we just kind of went from there. Had a lot of fun and kept doing it.
But it's kicked off massively. You're doing festivals, you're doing gigs, and I myself have experienced your sets and the stages for the Mother gigs at festivals. And oh my God, the only way I can describe it is it's electric. It's completely different. But I do have to ask you, Cormac, would you ever consider taking Mother abroad? Because the world needs to experience it.
Sure, book them other DJs. I would do it, yeah, definitely. I mean, we've done London once before and we've done some other gigs, but yeah, I mean, that's down to people booking us, I guess.
Get onto them. This needs to happen. The bookings need to happen. And also with different people that you get on, you've booked. You're the booker for things. You get people to come and perform, and you've got so many amazing people. Is there anyone that you would die happy to if you were like, okay, I got this person now from Mother?
Roisin Murphy, right? Should be amazing. Yeah.
That would be a good one. I actually wouldn't mind. Like she's brilliant. And also, so from establishing this and from where it's grown and where it's evolved to, do you see it going anywhere further? Not abroad, but like, do you see it growing bigger and bigger? Because you've done festivals, you've done events, you've done gigs. Do you see anything happening at home with it?
We got some background stuff going on, maybe our own festival, some other stuff like that. We could definitely do more stuff with it. I think our own festival is just on the horizon.
Good. Thank you so much for chatting us today, Cormac. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Ruth Kavanagh, thank you so much for joining us tonight on About Last Night. So you are residency DJ here for Mother. Yep. How did that come about? How did this happen? So did you just kind of show up at the door and was like, hey, Cormac, I'm a really cool DJ. Let's take me on, or?
Not quite. I was DJing in a few other places. I used to come to Mother quite a bit. I knew the guys and they just asked me down one night. I loved it. And of course I was back dancing every other week. And yeah, about a year into it, they were like, right, you know, do you want to be one of the residents? And I was like, absolutely. So that was it, really.
And I think the atmosphere as well, when you're as a residency DJ anyways, but the atmosphere for Mother especially is always, I was saying to Cormac, it's electric, it's exciting. Yeah. How is it as a residency DJ here to see the vibe every time that you come and gig here?
It is ridiculous fun. It is. It's great. It's like a good house party. We literally, like, half the time we'll hop off the decks and come out to dance, or, you know, that sort of thing. It's just too much fun. It's great.
You can see it, and you can see the vibe, and as well at festivals and gigs and festivals that you've done, the atmosphere is, it's in the club, but it brings it across through the gigs and through the festivals that you go to. But I do have to say, you are friends with one of my favourite human beings on the planet, Kellyanne Byrne, and you've DJ'd back to back with her. Now, the friendship looks real, but I do have to ask, is there any competition, any rivalry, or is it a genuine love?
No, and the amount of people that ask us that is hilarious. No, we literally, the first time we played together was actually in Mother, when Kellyanne was one of the original residents, and ever since then, anytime, even when we were asked to do solo gigs at a festival for Arvine, the two of us decided to ask him if we could just join our sets together. So no, we absolutely love. There's no competition at all.
But it's a residency duo reduced to.
Yeah, oh God. Well, we did a couple of nights together for various different things, and our friends started calling us Cagney and Lacey, which wasn't good. So, needless to say, we love DJing together. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'd be great to do. I'm sure she's over in Glasgow.
No.
Yeah.
The whole travel thing. We had the chats about the travel thing. It's not exciting at all.
We have a deal with Cormac that we get to play with each other at least like once a month or once every 2 months here, so it keeps our fix in. We're good.
Oh, I love that. He specialises in that. That's actually really sweet. And you've been here for a while with Mother, and you've seen it evolve and you've seen it grow. But I've asked Cormac the same thing, but I'm going to ask it to you too. Would you or can you see Mother going abroad? Because in all fairness, the world needs to witness this. They need to experience the Mother experience.
Well, so far we've managed to go to Galway and, you know, Cork and a few other places. And technically Mother has played abroad, because myself and Ghost Boy did a gig over in Brighton. But yeah, absolutely, it's something that we would, as long as the venue's right and the crowd is right, it's totally cool. We do an awful lot of Pride stuff, so yes, if somebody invited us over for their Pride, I think that would be amazing.
Could you imagine Mother Pride, like, tour going around everywhere? It'd be insane.
It would be insane.
I think we're onto something.
Oh my God, could you imagine? You've created a monster.
Yes, my plan has worked. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us, Ruth, and we cannot wait to see your set.
Excellent, thank you.
Well, that is it from us, the Dublin team, for About Last Night for this week. Thank you so much to Ruth and Cormac for having the chats with us tonight. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Let us know where you'd want us, Dublin team, to hit next.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to About Last Night. It is Joe, and tonight we are back on the West Coast. We're down in Monroes live for the gig of the week. The Blizzards are playing here tonight. It's going to be an unbelievable show. It's a great venue. They're an incredible band, and I cannot wait to have the catch-up just before the gig, and that's just after this, so stick around. Welcome back, folks. We're here in the green room of Monroes Live with everyone from the Blizzards. Thanks a million for sitting down with us, guys. Gonna hop straight into it. You played Mike the Pies last night. You're gonna play a couple of great live venues coming up in the next couple of weeks. When you kind of bounce back on tour, is there a great enthusiasm and excitement for playing kind of intimate live venues like here, like Queenlands, like your faves?
I think it's nice to be able to play a show tonight where I can stand up on the stage. I couldn't stand up in Mike the Pies. I was literally that much off the roof. So he was actually going to remove some of the floating roof for me to play.
Just for you?
That was an actual, not even a joke. We're like this. I don't know how this is going to work because you have these little hooks out of the ceiling as well. So I said, either someone knows how to stitch heads because something's going to split here. So luckily in Monroes the stage is a bit higher, but yeah, that stage suits me a bit more. But I think
built for big units like you.
Big fellas, yeah. But I think it's we've been on the like making an album. That's we're not the type of band who has the luxury of doing both, being on the road and making a record. So this is our kind of blowing the cobwebs off, getting back on the road, getting back in front of people and playing the new album, and playing songs from the new album because no one's heard them.
Well, this is what I was just about to hop into. So, like, you recently, you worked with Paul Allwright. Is it a kind of a collaborative album, or is it going to be majority your stuff, or who wants to grab this one?
Tiki Rock on it now is our next single. I think we're looking forward to that one. It's a bit different. I'm not kind of sure people will get it, but it doesn't really matter. I think it's a good record. It's good.
When can we kind of expect for the album to be finished and to come out?
2023, I'd say it'd be good probably. But
with the progress you're making currently.
We're probably looking like early to mid next year. That's what we're looking at. But we spent a lot of time in the studio really refining, I guess, the sound. And you know, we have done a lot of work, as you've said, with a couple of singles, and we've collaborated. But I think we've not only developed the sound that we have, but we've also grown and evolved. I think into what you're going to hear. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks for hopping in. Can I ask, does the performance change then with the style of music? If it evolves, does the performance change, or is it just great to get back out on the road and gig?
Keep our clothes on now, which is good.
More's the pity, Brez. More's the prissy. But is it the same feeling, or is it just as good crack, or is it kind of bit more sedate?
The songs are definitely not sedate. I think if anything, these songs are more high octane than some of the stuff we've done. I think from a live point of view as well, it's hard playing new songs, getting used to them and actually getting them really tight. When you're getting tight, because there's just two levels. There's like the level where you play them live, and there's the level where you're performing them live, because you're not even thinking about it and you're just giving it socks. So it's nice to do these gigs because it gets us into that kind of form of where these aren't songs that we're kind of wary of anymore. We're like, right, these are songs. And it's important because people hearing these for the first time from the album, we want to represent them as best as we can. We put a lot into them. And usually when I go to gigs and bands go, I'm going to play loads of new stuff, I'm like, oh, fuck. You know, because you want to hear about it.
No one else feels like that when they go to gigs, Brizzy, at all.
Well, I think I kind of explained that to people here. Listen, we have to play this. We spent quite a long time doing it. So, yeah, I think I think these songs fit really well with the rest of the set. You know, we haven't changed anything dramatically. People thought What I Need to Win is quite different, but any band has every right to do what they want with their sound. Once their audience their audience that started with them you don't isolate it too much. But I don't think we have. I think we've kind of kept what we wanted to do, and I think it's a very strong record.
Well, look at Savage that you're playing places like Monroes, places like Wheels, because the crowd are so intimate, it's so close. You're going to get a great energy off them, and you can really test it. You talked there about going to kind of gigs of other people. We're really blessed with all the emerging talent coming through. Are there any particular young Irish artists that you've either been to in the last kind of 6 months to a year, or you're definitely going to go to in 2019 because you're buzzing about them currently?
I like Tebby Rex. I like what Tebby Rex are doing for a reason. I think it's really important in Ireland that new genres have emerged. I think that's so important because for years in Ireland it was kind of guitar music, that was it. And I think it's important that the scene has changed and it's become much more competitive and there's much more different genres. And what I like about Tebby Rex is who we collaborated with in the same way we don't take ourselves seriously, but we take ourselves very seriously. We do work hard, but I think music can sometimes get very highbrow and very serious and everything.
Almost exclusive, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think there's no room for that. I think we're not mad fans of it. We you know, as I said, we try to bring slight elements of our personality, bad, good, or indifferent. I think Debbie or Rex are doing that as well, and I think they're clever guys. So it's the quirk. I like the quirkiness of what they're doing.
Any emerging genres? So like we had Leisha, who's a rising electropop Irish star last week. Any particular genres that kind of really interest you, or you're delighted to see now that there's an Irish presence in it?
I'm still a Metallica fan, so.
So not so present, but yeah, over to the past over there.
Mind Riot down in Cork are a great metal band, like with a heavy rock band. Like me and Deck obviously during the 90s grew up with, like, was heavy rock. I liked ABBA as well, but I was never allowed to say it or I'd get my absolute arse kicked in.
No way, really? Can't believe that.
Big ABBA fan, yeah. But like Metallica and but Mind Riot are you know, topper again. But I think
we were playing Mike the Pies last night, and Aidan, who owns the venue, was saying he's getting the Fontaines down, and he's like, you could see.
When do you know?
DC Fontaines. I don't know. Next week, I think, maybe the week after, and he was just so.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, he was buzzing when, about them. You know what I mean? So I haven't heard them, and he was just like, "Oh man, they're like, they're serious DC Fontaines or whatever." So.
A number of years ago, Whipping Boy had that record, and it was I think one of the greatest Irish records ever. Yeah, and it was. I know. I think there was issues and stuff, and the band didn't go much further. But that was an incredible record. But they remind me a little bit of that. It's obviously kind of punk music, but the singer, like when I first heard DC Fontaines, it's almost hypnotic. Yeah. We always get caught up in music about hooks. You have to have hooks. There has to be hooks. There has to be hooks. And then bands come around and go, it doesn't have to be. It has to be something there has to be something in the music that engages you, and it doesn't need to be a hook. With them, there's something there, and it's his voice. It's just. He doesn't even sing. Yeah. It's a spoken. It's almost spoken word, but it's just like hard. It's pretty hypnotic stuff. I love it.
But can I just touch on that then? The energy. Do you feed off an energy from a crowd like tonight? Is it a massively important?
We haven't seen them yet.
Right. So like, picture the place full.
Yeah.
As in like when you're playing live gigs like this, is it a great thrill? Is it great enthusiastic?
I think we're like, over the years we've kind of mastered the art of creating our own energy on stage. And giving it to the crowd as opposed to taking it off them, you know. I know that sounds a bit cheesy, but like we've played many a gig over the last like 10 years that, you know, there'd be 3 or 4 people there or 30 people there or people disinterested at kind of different types of gigs. Now, the large majority have been brilliant, you know, but we've always mastered the art of kind of getting out on stage, creating our own energy on stage, you know, creating the energy from me to Louise, I'm passing it on and then letting that go out into the crowd as opposed to going out like, you know, asking them for something. You know, you should not want nothing of them. Like, you know, they're paying the money to see us. We should give them all our energy. You know, and of course, you know, it's great to look out at a full venue and people into the tunes and all that. But I think we often, you know, we try and keep it on the stage in a bubble a little bit. You know, and
we did this toilet tour in the UK. Like,
what's a toilet tour?
It's just when you do absolute kips because like you have no, like you're going to like you're going to somewhere for the first time, like the UK, and we were touring it, like, and you're trying to do it for as cheap as you can. I mean, you're staying 5 in a room, kind of stuff. And we were doing this gig in
5 in a bed, more.
Yeah, well, who's
5 in a bed.
5 in a bed. We were very. We played Hull. I remember thinking in my head, but there was nobody. I mean, no one there. The barman wasn't even there.
Big of the venue.
The barman, I think, was so. He was just like sitting there, like there was literally just a barman.
What was the capacity? As in, like, how big was the venue?
Yeah, 200, a small venue. But I remember just saying to the lads, "What's the etiquette here? Do we play or what? There's no one here." And then we just went, "We played the greatest show we've ever played," and that's exactly what we did. We went out, and the barman was like, I think the barman wasn't sure whether he should call the police or not, but it was just like you kind of we've had that. Every band has those gigs where you literally own And I always think you can practice 100 times a week, but it doesn't get you your stagecraft. It doesn't get you your live performance. Rehearsals are grand, they tighten the songs, but it doesn't get the next level. So you have to gig, even if it's in front of 4 people, or it's 100 people, or 500 people. It just builds your stagecraft, and you become more comfortable on the stage. And as a band, you start. There's nuances in your performances that can make huge differences. I know sometimes in certain songs, Deck will do something on the snare, and I know it's coming, and then I'll follow him on the guitar, but it wouldn't be part of the song. But it just creates a new energy into the song, and it kicks in. But yeah, it's live is. I think for me personally, I don't know if I could live without playing live music. It's a huge, yeah, huge. It's I don't know what it is. It's something that you can't you can't replace it.
Unfortunately, that's a perfect way to a perfect way to sign off. Unfortunately, that's the end. That's all we have time for. Come here, we're absolutely buzzing for your gig tonight. Thanks a million for sitting down and chatting to us. Can't wait for the album in 2023. Thanks a million. Cheers.